So now we've got a goal, and the 2 people who watched my last video know exactly what that goal is. The rest of you will just have to figure it out or just go back and watch it, please. Either way, we've now got a goal. We're trying to earn a bunch of money with photography, and now it's time to actually make that goal actionable. We need to make some steps. We need to create some steps, some sub goals that will take us on the way there, and then we need to make a plan to reach those sub steps. So in this video, we're going to be doing some of the things like we're going to making a budget. I've already done some preliminary work here. We're going to be looking at different budgets for this year, since we're trying to reach around $2,000 by the income, and we're going to say that's revenue by the end of the year. There's a couple different ways of how to spread that out through the year. We're going to look a bit about what are the expectations for the business. We're going to try and make some ideas on how to actually start making money and growing this business so that we can make the money that we need to. And we are going to look at what are the goals for June, what are we aiming to do in June, and to set ourselves up for our first paying customer in July. So I'm going to take you guys over to my computer and we're going to start making some plans. All right, so here we are at the computer. So we are going to be doing some work in Trello here. We're going to try and make some goals and plans and make those sub goals there. And then we're going to go into Drive. We're going to go into the photography folder, ignore everything else. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in here. I'm going to go to Google Sheets and we're going to make ourselves a quick makeshift budget. So we're just going to call that budget photography 2021. Now, this doesn't have to be all that complicated. In reality, what we're trying to do is we're gonna try and reach around $2,500 US in revenue by the end of 2021. So 2021 revenue, say 2,500 USD. Actually, we're going to keep things in Danish kroner just for my sake. It doesn't really matter. All the math is the same. I have to use commas. There you go. 15,000 Danish kroner approximately. So that's about, I paid about 10,000 Danish kroner for the camera. And then I'm assuming we're going to need some expenses like probably some more gear, a website and stuff. And I'm just going to count those expenses to about 5,000 Danish kroner. See, hold on. How do we do this? Actually, yeah. From camera, expenses, about 5,000. And this is the goal. So these are basically broken down. Let's make those calibrate. There you go. Then we bold this and just DKK down there. There you go. All right. So our goal is 15,000 Danish kroner by the end of the year. That's about 10,000 because of the camera, and then about 5,000 expected expenses. If we end up spending more money, then we have to adjust this. But this is just you know, a rough expectation. So let's see, we are in June now, July, and this is gonna go on until December. And gonna make 4 different budgets. So we have a couple different ways of going for our goals. So in all of the 4 budgets, we're expecting 0 revenue in June because that's going to be a preparation month. We're going to start getting all the gear we're going to need. We're going to start building up a website. We're going to be doing some of the stuff required to get our first paying client. And then in July, we expect our first paying client. And now this first budget is basically designed on, we're going to earn little money early on, and it's going to steadily increase until we reach 5,000 Danish kroner in revenue in December. Now, whether that's 1 job or 5 jobs, who cares? Basically, this is just how the growing budget looks. And that equals some, bam, 15,500. So that adds up nicely. So that's growing. That means we're going to be under very little pressure early on, but as we reach somewhere around December, we're going to be under a lot of pressure. Now, you could argue that earning money in December is going to be a lot easier as well, because first of all, we'll have 5 months, 6 months almost of customers, paying customers, hopefully happy customers. We're going to have a backlog. We're going to have a bit more reputation, and we're hitting into the holiday season, which might make it easier to earn money. Budget 2 is somewhat similar to budget 1, but we are going to say, instead of expecting to be able to earn, is that right? That is right. Instead of expecting to be able to earn 5,000 Danish kroner in revenue in December, we're going to mellow it out. We're going to say, okay, we'll start slow and then we'll increase, and then we're just going to hit a plateau. That's probably a bit more realistic, but of course it doesn't get us quite up to that 15,000. But it's also very acceptable. If we do this, we have to keep our expenses down below 2,500 kroner. Our third budget is a bit more ambitious early on, but not as quick to grow. Instead, it's very slow grower, but also takes big steps when it actually does grow. This way, we're a bit more ambitious in July. August is basically the same. September is basically the same, but under less pressure in October, because we're staying the same as September. But then when we hit November, we really have to pick up and then keep that going. And this will give us a revenue of 14,000 Danish kroner. Okay. Our last budget is much more ambitious early on, and then it doesn't actually grow. It's basically, if we start out great and we just keep that momentum, then this is what it's going to look like, and we're going to reach 12,000. So if we start out fast and just keep the momentum, we're actually going to be able to hit 12,000 just by earning 2,000 every month. And now that's not very ambitious later on, but it's fairly ambitious early on. What we can use this for, and it's if we what gets really interesting is if we start graphing these out. Let's get a chart. Nope, we want this to be this. It's because it's not cumulative. Hold on. How do we do this? Oops, actually I want to keep those. 2020 revenue. Let's make a thing down here. Let's copy this whole thing down. But let's say that that means this is 1,500. That makes this 3 to do 6,500, 10,500, 15,500. There you go. Then we don't need these. Is there quicker ways to make this cumulative? I'm not quite sure. Either way, hold on. These are the same. This is 2,000. This is 4,000. This is the same. This is quick enough? Yeah, and this is 6,000. Then we've got 8,000 and 10,000 and 12,000. Oops. There you go. This is again 6,500. Is that right? Do these really follow? Oh, oops. 9,500. They do, and then 12,500. And this one goes 2, 5, 9, 13. No. Something wrong. What went wrong there? 1, 2. It's supposed to be 5. And 7. 11. That's still not right. Hold on. 1,000. 2,000. It's supposed to be 4,000. 6,000. 10,000. 14,000. There you go. Now here's where it gets really interesting. If we chart these, it did not like that. Why is budget 1 so crazy? It's because there's 0 too much. Much better. Much better. Yeah. Can we zoom in on this? Don't actually know. Oops. But yeah, basically, we're earning nothing in June. Here's what we really want to do. Early on, we want to try and stay above the green line. That's budget 4. That's the where it's spread distributed evenly across all 6 months. We want to try and stay above the green line early on, and then as it starts picking up, we want to start earning more than the first budget, because that's the most ambitious one later on. So as we start reaching October, we want to start earning more than the first budget is expecting, and early on we want to earn more than the fourth budget is expecting. That might sound a bit confusing when I explain it like that, but basically what we can do is we can add another line here that's basically what's our real ass revenue, and then we just keep plotting that, and we'll be able to see, okay, are we falling below the budget? And again, what we want to just follow is the top budget. But in the worst case, we're fine if we just stay in between the top budget and the lowest budget. So early on, that's between the green and the red line. And as we reach December, we want to be between the blue and the green line. That's kind of our meaning. We actually have a pretty narrow bottleneck here in November where we really want to stick. And if we don't, that means we're either above budget, which is good, or we're below and we have to do something really good in December. So that's something to keep an eye out for. But these are basically the rough budgets we're going to try and follow. And depending on how things go, maybe we're going to end up spending much more money than expected on expenses. Maybe the website is going to be more expensive, or we're going to need more camera gear, in which case we're going to have to adjust the budget. Or maybe we just earn a lot more money and we can start being more ambitious. Maybe we start July with 2,000 and August with earning 4,000, so we're already like halfway towards our goal in August. That'd be fantastic. Then we're just going to increase the budget. We're going to start going more ambitious. But this is basically the absolute minimum. Now, that's kind of our sub-goals. These are our sub-goals. Every month we want to stay somewhere between these values here in revenue. Meaning June, we're expecting no revenue. Now, that is because June is going to be a preparation month. And so in Trello here, I already had a couple things about what are the things I want to start looking into. But here's the thing. June tasks. We are going to have to do a lot of things in June to, if we want to expect to have our first paying customer in July. Now we can go for a cheap customer that only pays 500, or we can go for a good customer that gets us like 2,000. Either way, we're going to see what happens. But if we want to get a good paying customer, a well-paying customer in July, we're going to need to do a lot of prep work in June. We need a lot of proof of work. We're going to need a portfolio, that kind of stuff. Now, we already did the red line challenge. I'll be showing you guys the submissions at another point. But here are some of the things I prepared. Basically, for June, we need to prep for first customer. Let's call it client. It's a lot more professional. What this means is we need to sort out payment and legal aspects. Prepare a portfolio. And prepare prices. That's basically, oh, we need to prepare for, let's see if I have that anywhere else. No, we need to get the gear necessary to actually do the job. We're gonna need to get case studies, and I've decided that we want 3 case studies in June. The case studies are basically just clients that don't necessarily have to pay. We just want to have 3 jobs in our portfolio that we can reference to. We want 3 references. So maybe we should actually call it that. We want 3 references. Doesn't have to be paying references. Perfect. Now, it doesn't really matter who this is. It's basically anyone we can put on the website, the work we can put on the website, and we can refer to if our first paying customer wants, to just check in that we're actually professional and we do our jobs well. We need to set up a website because, as I've mentioned in my last video, we are going to try and pivot from early on. We're going to be all selling a service. We're going to be selling hours, basically. And later on, we want to try and move over to selling a product. And the website is going to serve as a channel for both. It's going to be a way for people to find us and look at our portfolio and look at our prices, but it's also going to be a place where they can buy our posters or photographs, basically. Now, the pictures that are being sold might be put on some other website like my partner's, but that's something we're going to start looking into later. But we need a website under no matter what. It's a lot more professional, and it's where people go to read more about us. So we're going to need to set up a website. Easiest way is Squarespace. It's not the cheapest, but it's quickest and guarantees like a certain amount of quality. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. We're also going to need to sort out legal aspects. Now, those are the aspects of registering business in Denmark, contracts / invoicing, all that kind of stuff. We need to figure that, like taxes, basically, taxes and VAT, that kind of stuff. That has to be sorted out, and we're gonna try and get a hold of some people to help us with that. Then we also need to figure out, because photography is kind of interesting. If we want to sell it as a product, we won't always have everyone's consent to take a certain picture. Now, laws like GDPR limit the amount of personal information that can be gathered and shared online. Meaning, I can't just necessarily take pictures of a random stranger, but if they're not specifically identifiable in a crowd, I don't think GDPR really applies. But there are still photography laws. So if I want to take pictures in public areas, I need to figure out what are the photography laws. What let's just enter into it. What is allowed, basically. What is allowed when it comes to photography in public? How much of a people's face can we show? Do we need to make sure people aren't there? Can we show crowds? That kind of stuff. And then I also want to try and develop my brand a bit more. Now, part of that is getting references and getting clients. But we're also going to try and participate in summer photography competition. Again, similar to the Red Line Challenge, we're not actually expecting to win this one, but we want to participate for the branding. It doesn't have to be a big one. I'm actually hoping to find a smaller local one that we can sign up for, where we actually maybe have a chance of winning and getting our name out there a bit. And just getting some proof of concept. It's really gonna be interesting. So these are the things we need to get right. Gear is like, also keep in mind, this was also like a studio. Is a studio necessary? Do we need to figure out a way to rent a studio and take pictures, or are we gonna do outdoors pictures only? That's the kind of thing we really need to figure out. But I feel like these cover some of the most important things. I do want to add another list here. Business ideas. Just a random one full of business ideas. Partner that I also have written down. Partner with Sarah. Now, we're probably not going to be applying all of these ideas, but we're going to be able to sort through them. I'm going to be putting, every time I get an idea regarding my photography business, I'm going to be putting it there. Then I'm going to sort through them, find the best ones, and start applying those to help grow the business. Partner with real estate. That's a good one. They're going to need good pictures of their listings. So partnering up and getting a recurring deal with they get a discount, and I just get the job every time with a real estate company to take some of their listing pictures, would be very beneficial for both of us. Contact used goods shop. This is similar but not quite as great. We have a used goods shop here in the neighborhood, and reaching out to that shop to maybe take pictures of the products and helping them sell them faster makes sense, but it's not as lucrative for them as something like a real estate company. Build brand with competition, we already got that. Interview Jonas and Rune. These are going to be interesting. So Jonas is my old classmate, and I think I'm going to try and contact him to set up an interview. That should really be quite interesting. I think he'd be up for it, and he has a media company, a photography company running right now, and I'd like to hear a bit about what are the things he would recommend that I really get sorted out just to get started. Like what kind of gear do we need? A studio? How do I get my first paying clients? How much should I charge? All of that. Rune is a bigger photographer. He's a drone photographer primarily, and drone videographer, and I've seen a lot of his posts on LinkedIn, and I feel like he does a lot of really great stuff, and I'd love a chance to just talk with him about it. So if I can reach out to him and get him in for that, I think that would be some great content. Makes sense. Let's just partnership with Billif. So we have this almost an incubator nearby, and maybe we could partner up with them in some way. Videography. I really love videography, and I think I'm much more interested in that just in theory than photography. But it's also something I have much less information and knowledge about. and something I'd really have to get my brain properly wrapped around how to make a good, for example, commercial. But I'd love to add videography to my services as well. It would require a fair bit of legwork, prep work to get that started. Let's see. Event photos. I think events are going to be a great way to try and get some experience taking photos, get a chance to take some great photos, and also really just add some great photos to my portfolio. And I think there's a lot of money in it as well. If you can get the gig to take pictures at an event, I think people would really be willing to pay for that. This last one is very interesting, and that's, we're gonna add that under get references, because one of my colleagues or person I know does burlesque, and I want to try and talk to her to see if, when they do practice or if they're doing a show sometime in the near future, if I could come take pictures, if they'd be comfortable with that even. But if I could take pictures of their practice or just a full-on show, I'd do it for free, and it'd be great experience, and it would look, hopefully some great pictures would come out of it that could lead to event photos later on, really. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna start tackling these. You don't really need to be part of the nitty-gritty, but some of the things like what do we need to prep, I think you're going to get included on. Some of the legal aspects and photography laws I'm going to clue you in on as well. So I think this is going to be really interesting, and I want to thank you guys for watching. I think we really have a plan now for June, and we do need to set up a plan for July, but first we need to get these things sorted so that we can get our first paying client in July. It's going to be exciting, and I'm super nervous about it, but I'm just gonna add one last thing. Get good. I really need to be at a point where I'm much more confident in my photography if I want to be able to charge for it. So I'll see you guys hopefully next week, I think. Thank you for watching.